Okay, so we've got a major update on the hardware front. No, it's not PlayStation 6 or the PlayStation handheld. It's a global RAM crisis
Um,
that's threatening the supply chain for gaming consoles, and in particular, the upcoming PlayStation 6. What looked like a predictable console cycle may now be running into serious memory roadblocks. So, the current memory chip shortage, driven largely by massive demand from AI data centers, is creating nightmare conditions for console makers. RAM, which is memory, especially GDDR6 and GDDR7 modules used in the PlayStation 5 and future PS6 builds, is becoming scarce and expensive. Some suppliers are reportedly prioritizing memory allocation to high margin AI server customers, which squeezes the consumer electronics segment, consoles included. Industry analysts and reporting indicates that memory shortages could force hardware makers to either raise retail prices, reduce production volume, or delay launch dates altogether. For consoles like the PlayStation 6, expected to feature increased RAM to support modern standards, some expect 24 gigabytes or more. This shortage could hit especially hard. While companies like Sony reportedly stockpiled some RAM early, efforts aimed at shielding current gen production PS5 from price hikes, the problem appears far from over. That stockpile might not be enough to cover a full scale PlayStation 6 launch if shortages persist. A RAM, so JD kicking in now. A RAM shortage could push back the PlayStation 6 release date beyond the previously speculated 2027 window. Some industry sources are now suggesting a possible delay to 2028 or later if supply doesn't stabilize. I'm happy about that. If RAM costs remain elevated, it could also force Sony to either sell the PS6 at a much higher launch price, which may price out some buyers, or ship a cut down model with less memory, potentially hampering next gen performance. Game developers might react accordingly. Instead of building for a high RAM PS6 baseline, we could see multi-tier game support for lower RAM versus higher RAM consoles, or even heavier reliance on optimized engines or cloud-based assets to compensate. What should have been a smooth generational transition may now be riddled with uncertainty. The RAM crisis isn't just a PC builder problem, it's threatening the foundation of next gen console hardware itself. If you are counting on the PlayStation 6 arriving in 2027, don't be surprised if that timeline now slips. And when it does eventually launch, if it launches as planned, expect it to carry a premium. For gamers and industry alike, this is shaping up to be one of the most critical hardware threats in years.
mm,
Dude, PlayStation 5 has had some shit thrown against it, man, since it launched. It launched in a pandemic, you know what I mean? Then Ukraine and Russia went to war, and there was a component shortage for like a year or something. And just when you thought things were getting better, component prices went up, so the console price has gone up. And now OpenAI are like, we're just going to buy 40% of the world's RAM. Thank you very much. And now, if you're a PC builder and you want to buy memory, it's more expensive than a PS5 Pro. What's going on, mate?
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it hasn't released at the best time. Which is I guess why Nintendo's like singing happy because all their tech is like outdated tech. Instead of using like the latest cutting edge technology, they're going back with what was cutting edge like 8 years ago and still making it work today comparatively. But yeah, this is what happens when you're playing the high stakes game. You know what I mean? You're getting the latest and greatest state of the arts RAM in this or components, but RAM in this example. But yeah, AI is literally taking over. It's what everybody wants to invest in. It kind of makes a lot more sense because you can just buy it in large amounts of
But you get a lot of
in
people
large
talking about
bulks.
there's going to be a massive
Yeah, so
bubble burst
what's
on
that's
AI.
what they said. That's what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like Sam Altman, whenever he's asked about it, man, he definitely throws a little bit of a hissy fit, man, because I don't even think he understands exactly how they're looking to make money from it directly. But it's going to be interesting to see where it goes either way. But this does make me think, though. I mean, as you mentioned, there might be a cloud solution there. Would Sony pretty much push PS Plus even more as an option for the PS6 generation?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. I told you ages ago the platform isn't PS5 and PS6, it's PlayStation Network and PlayStation Plus. That is the platform. That is PlayStation. You just have the vessel to get to the main platform that they want you on. Over a generation, they make more money from PS Plus than they do you buying the console, right? You know, you spend more money on your subscription if you're premium than you do actually when you buy the machine. So that's where they want. And I always said, you know, and we all felt like PS5 and to some extent the Xbox Series, and that they never really got a fair shake this generation because of the pandemic and the shortages and components going up and the prices being shit. There's no need for it. Dude, if no video game came out at all for the next 10 years, I'd be happy because I could actually get through the backlog of things that I've wanted
And
to
it's all
play
indie games as well,
and
isn't
just had to
it?
ignore because I just don't have the time. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got like dude, we have over 1,000 games on PlayStation Plus given to us for free during this subscription. You know what I mean? And it's just like we're not anywhere near fucking getting near it. You know what I mean? So it's just like slow down a little bit. As I love new tech and that, but I'm not in a rush to leave the PS5 Pro yet. It's a great machine. I mean, Ghost of Yotei, dude, Ray Tracing Pro mode now has a little feature where you can change the VIR to uncapped, and Digital Foundry were proper having a wank over it. Dude, I'm playing Ghost of Yotei, or I was playing Ghost of Yotei in the full ray tracing pro mode at
Mm,
90 frames per second on a
awesome.
PS5 Pro. And my PS5 Pro was like, easy. This ain't
Not
Final
even
Fantasy
close, is
16. Watch me purr,
it?
right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is unbelievable, man. I don't need a PlayStation 6 yet, you know? And it's just like, give developers more time. I mean, I saw the reports that, you know, there's another price hike for Xbox consoles coming because of this. They didn't stockpile RAM and Sony did. So we're looking at another price rise again. Um, and I think Sony are kind of just safeguarding. I think you'll see PS5 sales collapse next year because Sony will hold back until Grand Theft Auto and then get as many consoles as they can out because they know that's the point where people will want to jump from PS4 to PS5 and they'll want the stock to be there on the market. But it's just one thing after another in this industry, mate. And when it comes to the pricing, that's why I always say just fucking get it day one now because that is going to be the cheapest time to get the machine. It's going to be, dude. Everyone was going crazy about how Sony dropped the price for Black Friday, and it was this much to get a PlayStation. In my head, I was looking at it, I was like, that's how much it cost at launch.
Yeah, exactly. Innit?
Sony dropped 100 quid, 150 quid off a PlayStation, and it's the same price as it was on day one.
Yeah, yeah, it's mad. It really is. In fact, yeah, I did see. In fact, it was ridiculously cheap. Was it Argos or Curry's on Black Friday deals? Very similar to that Japan only PS5 price. It's around 250, £260. And I
Wow.
thought that's awesome, absolutely awesome. But obviously that deal's now over. Good luck. Well, congratulations to those who actually got it. But yeah, I mean, it this kind of plays in with this RAM crisis. It kind of leans into what we saw in what we've heard previously about the next generation. Now there's going to be like multiple SKUs. I mean, we've got Orion, we got Canis, and then we've got Canis handheld. So Canis, the standard console, looks like it's going to be just a more PS5 Pro, but yet still able to play like the PS6 games. And maybe if that could be part of the stockpiled consoles or RAM that they've already got right there, that might be the one that they're looking to push forward.
Are they? I
Remember, they did
think,
say
like,
that they
dude. I
wanted to
mean, let's
make it
be
a lot
honest.
more
How
cost
much did they
effective.
stockpile? 5 million,
Who
six
knows? Yeah.
million, maybe. That'll all be gone by the time GTA comes out.
It will. But if they could use like older, cheaper RAM with that, but just boost up everything else. I mean, obviously, we've seen them make efficiency upgrades in the recent SKUs to the current PlayStation model, so they could probably continue that iteration for the next one, and that could just keep them afloat, and then yet save whatever RAM they've managed to acquire for Orion, which being like the I mean the granddaddy. PS6,
The
with
Sunny
all the
machine,
bells and
yeah.
whistles. Yeah, exactly. With the pros and the, what I mean, all the latest RAM, bells and whistles, and keeping everything on site. You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting. I think they, like you said, it does make sense. It is the PS network. Push that forward. I mean, they've already kind of tested it well with the portal, and that's obviously going from strength to strength. So, and obviously the broadband as well, the domestic broadband's getting a lot more easier and a lot better, and you don't really need as much as high of a bandwidth as you once previously needed. So, and assuming that's going to continue for the next 5 years, which it naturally will, the broadband should be enough for at least for single player,
Mm.
gaming. You know, what I mean, with low
I
latency.
think
If they come out with a, we were talking about the dual sense. If they come out with a dual sense, which is similar to the Stadia pad, which connects directly to the Wi-Fi, yeah, which limits the latency down to like minuscule.
we should
Yeah,
have 30 minutes of battery life with the dual sense then. That's what you're
yeah,
saying, yeah? This is the dual sense we're talking about
yeah,
here.
the battery life is going to go way down. But yeah, I think they're going to have at least. I think that's why they've come out with all those different options. You know what I mean? Orion, Canis, and obviously the dockable handheld. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly which direction they go, and especially for the price, it looks like they're going to need to keep the price as low as possible. So they won't be using the latest chips for that. You know, what I mean, if they want it to be competitive, especially with the Nintendo Switch probably coming out with their OLED version for the Switch 2 by then. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. At least we'll keep an eye on it going forward. So that's a potentially uplifting news article. Actually, it's disappointing. It's all disappointing, and it's all downhill from now. And we've got some more disappointing news, unfortunately, for you, Legacy of Kane fans.